Almost. And we're live. Thank you for being on YouTube. And I'm Veronica Bartolini with Codebreaker Real Talk. And today we have some more of Crystal Violet. And she also goes by Rebecca Caldwell. And she's going to tell us a little bit more about her experiences in the Navy, because all three of us were used in the secret space program. We're all in the military. Teresa's in the Army. I was in the Army. Crystal was in the Navy. So what was it that you came across today?
So I was out running errands, and when I got back to my apartment, I got out of my car and I saw a single cloud in the sky, just by itself, just like that big. And it was kind of shaped like a triangle, but it kind of like had a little tip going over like that, so it kind of looked like a witch's hat. But at the bottom of it, there was an empty space in the cloud, and it actually had the number 14 in it. I was gonna try to take a picture with my phone, but as soon as I started to think about grabbing the phone and started morphing into what looked like a high heel, and then it just dispersed. So by the time I like really had a chance to do anything, it was already gone. There's many moments that I've had where the sky looks perfect and I couldn't take a picture. So
yeah, I've had 7s, I've had 5s. A lot of 5s come at me, and I'm like, yeah, I know I'm a walk-in, but you don't have to remind me. But it's also some codes. I have numbers, letters coming from clouds. I'm like, what are you guys trying to tell me?
Yeah, that's the first time I've actually seen a number written in the actual cloud in this reality. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Usually I'll see numbers, like I'll look at my phone and it'll say like not 14. 14 is the first time I saw that number. But like right before my mom passed away, I saw 1717. And so I don't really know what that means, but every time I notice 1717 now, I always think of her. But then again, she was telling me that she had already passed on before she actually passed away. I heard soul can actually do that. The soul will actually leave the body while the person is still living. So she was definitely ready to go at that point. But anyway, yeah, that was definitely something interesting today. And I looked up the number 14, and it basically said that I'm on my soul's path. So I don't know what I'm doing yet, but I know because I have like really extreme chronic fatigue. I've had it my entire life, but every once in a while I'll have inspiration and I'll have like a little spurt of energy to get up and do something like paint or write, even if it's just a page or something like that. So yeah, that was something that definitely caught my attention. It's not every day you see numbers written in the sky with clouds. It's my first time. All right, and then what were we going to talk about? My time in the Navy, or
like yeah, as far as the numbers in the sky, they're telling you some things, and then I'll just tell you real quick. I don't know if it's for you right now or not, but you'll know later. Like I had been asking, what councils am I on? And I was on my bike, and I was on one of on a cruise loop, just chilling, and I kept looking up at the sky, and there's like these clouds that kept morphing, but they had like numbers and then people up there. I'm like, so it's the numbers, the Council of 5 and the Council of 9. They told me that it was a part of. And then later on, I had a dream that I was defending the children. There was a Council of 5 of us, including the people that I know here on Earth and some that are not on Earth. Okay. And we were with the tall white guy who was the judge. And then later on, my friend and I figured out that we were pleading the case to the judge about the children, and this included Susan Long, which I met her in, I don't know, like 7-8 years now. So you'll be paired up with people that have the same similar dreams or same experiences, and then you'll know. You just ask yourself, your subconscious, ask God, the universe, whatever, you know, you could even do sigils, you know, the ones that you do with the 5-star, and you circle it and you ask. You know how to do stuff like that. So you just ask, and then you shall receive.
Yeah.
because you know we're seeking for our truth, for our mission, and you will be paired up with people. Like, it was a pleasure meeting you at the Tucson Paranormal. I had not gone.
Right.
And you know, and that was going to be like the last meeting until they're going to do MUFON and Tucson Paranormal together. And then I went to the MUFON meeting and met other people. So Teresa was one of them when I went to John's meeting, you know, John DeSouza. But you are on the right path.
Right.
Of your mission here, because there's more to life than just the normal stuff, you know.
Yeah, I know I'm on the right path because I get the synchronicities. I've never had anybody to have synchronicities quite like me. Like the synchronicities that I get, like I said, are a lot like from the book UBIK by Philip K. Dick. I don't know if any of your readers or of your followers have actually read the book yet. But it's one of Philip K. Dick's top. It's like in the top 100 like best sci-fi books. So
I did actually. I
yeah.
want to talk a little bit about that, Crystal. The last time when we ended the show, I'm like, oh, I forgot. So there's this book called, can you say the name? And it's by UBIK.
UBIK is spelled UBIK, UBIK, and I'm pretty sure it stands for ubiquitous. They don't actually say the word ubiquitous, but the way it's mentioned in the book, like in the beginning of each chapter, there's like a commercial for some kind of a product, and it's like UBIK, blah 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 blah, use only as directed. And so what happens in that book is that it's about a group of psychics, because in the future there's different kinds of psychics. There's psychics and there's anti-psychics, and there's like all different people with different types of psychic phenomenon. And there is this boss, his name is Runciter, and the employees that he has, all of them have a specific psychic skill that they have, and they have this assignment to go to, and something happens with this assignment. I think they're supposed to go to I think it's like Luna base or something like that. So I'm guessing it's the moon. But anyway, on the way over to the place that they're supposed to go, there is an explosion that happens, and so during this explosion, their boss Runciter ends up getting killed, and they put him on in this stasis called half-life. And during this half-life, the body is pretty much almost dead, but the brain and the consciousness is kept alive in like these vaults where you know, people share consciousness together, and it's kind of like a city or whatever. And there's like different vaults that have like different groups of people that have the consciousness, and people can actually go in, and because in the beginning of the book, Runciter talks to his wife that's been in stasis for, I don't know, maybe like 10, 20 years, I don't remember exactly. And he talks to her about, you know, the business plans and everything. And anyways, long story short, Runciter ends up dying, and his employees put him in half-life, and as his employees are going about their business, their own reality really starts to shift. And in their reality, Runciter keeps coming through in different ways. He's seen on coins, and then he's seen like as posters, he's seen on the television, and then eventually, you know, he actually ends up showing up. But there's a twist, so I'm definitely not gonna ruin the spoiler for anybody. But one thing that I noticed when I started reading the book, and then when I started reading the book, I started realizing that the character Runciter and the way he appears to his employees And the reality that they are experiencing is how I experienced David Bowie and other synchronicities, not just David Bowie, but I noticed that's how my spirit guides. I mean, I guess I consider David Bowie spirit guide and a few other celebrities, and then there's other spirit guides I haven't met yet, but um, I know that I'm getting the messages because they're in my face. And like I cannot ignore them. You know, like the cloud in the sky today with the number 14 and the witch's hat that turned into a high heel. So I'm like, wow. That was
That's
pretty
the
cool.
symbol. And it,
Yeah.
One moment.
Okay.
Okay, so it's my dog. She keeps barking. And anyway,
Well, I don't hear the dog.
thank you. What I wanted to say about the book that, because I read the free sample that I had on the Kindle that you told me, the way that David Bowie comes to me is with his, with his hair like the blonde short, and just hi darling, and he has like the pants, they're like the checkered pants. And then he comes to me with the suit. And when you said that he comes to you with a cummerbund and a bow tie from that book, that was really interesting because I saw the visual how he comes to you, and I saw how he comes to me. And then sometimes, of course, he has the crazy hair in that movie Labyrinth that I talked about. Yeah. But he's to me he's a good guy. To me he hasn't done anything bad. Okay, so I'm gonna see if I can share the screen here. What I really interesting to me about that book is that they have these people. I don't know if they pay or not, but they come to see their dead ones that have been dead for 10, 15 years, and then they get to talk to them telepathically. And what I found interesting was in one of them, his wife, a male voice came in and took over the body, and the husband's like, where's my wife? I don't want to talk to this idiot. There's other spirits that go through the brain of the person that's half dead. And I find it very interesting. I've always wondered, what do they do with their body parts? What do they do?
Well, I don't know. In the book, they don't really specify, but so in the book, the body's not completely dead, so the body is kept in stasis, but they're pretty much dead. They're just like not completely brain dead, or however that works. And in the book, as Runsitter's talking to his wife, she actually keeps seeing this red light, and they talk about the Tibetan Book of the Dead, and he says how you're not supposed to go to the red light because the red light is bad or something like that, according to the
bad womb. Red light when you die is a bad womb. And then I tell people not to go to the white light because there's a trickster white light that gets you reincarnated here. And how do I know? Because I've already talked about my near-death experience, what I saw when I went through the death. And so I always say, if there is a light that is supposed to go to the creator, which is not the false gods, the AI, the false gods, whatever, the octopus, the eighth sphere, whatever they talk about, the god of the Egyptians. No, we don't want to go to that god either. So then you have to spend time in the darkness, because remember, from the darkness comes the light, and you'll find that light, and you'll find what you want to do. Do you really want to come back to Earth, or do you want to go somewhere and explore? Wherever there's more to life than just here, than just Earth. And it's a lie when they say, oh, there's just heaven and hell. No, what I saw was not that. And many people, if you look up near-death experiences, have seen totally the opposite of what's written in that book,
Right.
But I really like that book that you told me about. And then these are some of the pictures. But before we go through the pictures, did you want to, you had something else in mind, right? About the Navy and things like that?
I spent 6 years in the Navy. I don't know exactly what to talk about other than, I just spent a lot of time with the Pagan Study Group, and it was just basically, we didn't really do a lot of studying. We just passed the time by screwing around and and teaching each other like how to like do tarot cards and runes and stuff like that. And we would do energy circles and just group meditations and stuff like that. So it wasn't really too much like there was no, what's the word I'm looking for? Structured.
Did you
There was
do
no
any
structured
seance?
learning and teaching or anything like that. It was just us being able to get out of our jobs and just hang out because it was actually allowed by the chaplains for us to hang out.
But what I'm saying is, did you do any seances or anything like that? Did you see any spirits? Because you were in a pagan group in the ship while you were in the
Right.
Navy, like, how did that even happen?
Well, I don't want to say we actually did any actual seances. We didn't do a seance, but we did do, I think what he did, because this was back in 1998, so that was a long time ago. That's almost 30 years ago. So what we did, I don't know if you're familiar with the term like drawing down the spirit or something like that. So what he did is he actually brought the spirit, I believe, of Hecate. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it. Hecate is the goddess, the triple goddess, the maiden, the mother, and the crone. So what he did is he drew her spirit into him, and then we all kind of freaked out because we never saw personality change like that before. I don't remember exactly what happened, but she was basically chastising us about something, and all of us were looking at each other like, "Oh, what the f." And so that was my first experience with an actual personality change when somebody brings in a spirit, or in the case with I have many friends that actually have dissociative identity disorder, also known as multiple personality disorders. I can tell instantly when somebody shifts into another alter.
Oh, same here.
From that
Same here.
experience.
I had someone come on my show. We did like 40 different videos. His first name starts with Tom. And I could always tell when the personality was coming in that was not him. He would part his hair to the side and he would be like real rigid, and he would have a mustache on, and he would have this purple, maroon suit on. And then other times he would come like he was really like crying. And he was an actor for Hollywood. So he didn't know, he thought that I didn't know, but I could see right through him. I could see right through people that come on my show and change. I'm like, oh, that's that personality. Oh, he's trying to be that person. Like this, can't they see that I see that?
Honestly, it depends on the person, and it depends on the altar that's coming through. Because from my personal experience, the altars that come through with some people are not actually an altar; it's an actual spirit that is attached to the person. I had a friend recently. One of her altars wanted to speak to me, and so when their altar came through, they actually told me that she actually came to this person at a certain age. And then when I talked to her, because in her mind, she actually thought she conjured this altar, and I told her, I'm like, no, you didn't. She said that she came to you when you needed her. And she's like, oh, we got to have a discussion now. Because they also told her something completely different. Yeah.
The demons, the demons. That's why, when I saw this, and I didn't need to see this meme to see that, but there was this meme where there's these black spirits on top of a bar, a tavern, and there's these people going in, right, to go drink, and then it says they're waiting for you. And it's like,
that's interesting.
I
mean, there's a reason why they call alcohol spirit.
Yeah, and I have seen it in my visions how I know it sounds silly, but if you do look up Alcohol, he was an actual demon, he was an actual spirit. So that Alcohol with the K, Alcohol, to me in the vision that I saw was he's on the top of this pyramid overseeing all these spirits. So you have the beers, you have the tequilas, you have the vodkas, you have every drink that you drink and the bartender barista mixes for you is with different spirits. Okay. And then if you're already feeling depressed or suicidal, forget about it. Forget about it. It's not just going to be one spirit, baby. It's going to be more. You know, and then the hangover happens. What happened? Because you leave your body when you get drunk. That's what they want you to do. They want you to pass out, black out, so that these other entities can come in and do whatever they want with your body and your mind. And then you're like, how did I get home? I don't know. You know? So, yes, of course, it's fun, you know, once in a while, hey, you know, take a drink. But maybe on your birthday or New Year's. But people that do it every freaking weekend, you got a lot of spirits in you. A lot. You don't even know who you're dealing with. Where's your personality? It's way on the bottom. The frequencies have gone down. And now to raise up the kundalini, because you've already used desgastar, se dice en español, desgastar your oil. You've already left your oil that sacred oil that runs up through your spine and then through your head, because you have that kundalini thing. So what happens when that, you know, it's wasted? Why do you think the word is wasted? Oh man, dude, I got wasted last night.
Oh, huh. That makes sense.
Makes sense, right? But yeah, so Hector that came to you, it's the three spirits. So there's in movies like Hocus Pocus, they have the three female witches. It's always in threes. They also have a Greek goddess that has like I'm not gonna say it. I'll just write it in the chat here. But that's the one that they show for Easter. Let me see if I can. So I can't get to the chat. Anyway, it's the three-breasted goddess. Yeah, that's the one that they use for Easter.
What, like Total Recall?
Yeah, like Total Recall. Exactly. Yeah, it's in the movies because they are always honoring their gods, right? They want to bring them their Hinduism, the Hindu gods. Oh my gosh, they're those are the ones that were like after my spirit when I passed, you know, when I left. And it's right here. These are the ones, and I years later I found it. You see these blue spirits?
Yes.
Okay, so there's a man that's dying, and then there's his spirit being pulled out. There's a scientist on this side, then there's the guys that are charcoal. So everybody's trying to fight for your soul when you leave. So you still have to fight in your astral when you leave your body. And yes, you do see your body. I saw my body when I left, you know. But so on the ship, so were these soldiers on the Navy ship that actually were in the pagan thing that you did?
Are you saying super soldiers? Because I don't really know. Because with my experience as far as any kind of super soldier goes, I never really thought of the idea of super soldier while I was in.
Because you're under a spell, you know, and the shots that they gave you too.
Right. So at the time that I was in, it was more like spiritual and witchcraft and whatever oriented. Like I said, I never really practiced like the spellcraft part of it or anything. I mostly just read books that were recommended to me, and then whatever like spontaneous weird stuff that would happen to me, I would either research, or I'd like ask other friends like, hey, have you experienced this yourself, or stuff like that. Like I said, most of the stuff that I've ever experienced was mostly spontaneous, at least when it comes to me. But you know, over the last 30 years, you know, since being part of the pagan study group, there's something about me that people recognize that I don't see in myself. So I'm still trying to lift that veil that's been shrouded over me that everyone else can see. I don't know exactly how to, other than the fact that I am working on trying to consciously astral project So I know what's going on. I'll get there. I know I will.
Yes, you will.
I know the last time I tried doing it, I was very aware of what was going on, but the only thing that happened was that I started hearing organ music. Not church organ music, but kind of organ like what you would hear from, I don't know, like the little, I don't know if it was like back in the 80s or the 70s or something like that, but there's like this little tiny organ that you play and it only has like a few different sounds on it. So it wasn't like pipe organ, but it was just electric organ. But I was hearing that, and then in my head I'm like, oh, hey, cool, I'm hearing organ music, and then as soon as I acknowledged that, it kind of like went away. So,
I usually use I hear the synthesizer. So
yeah, it was kind of like a synthesized organ.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. So you hear a synthesizer when you astral? That's interesting. I know when I was in the Navy, I know, well, okay. So speaking of David Bowie, you know the song, I'm trying to remember it now that I'm trying to think about it, my brain just went blank. Because in this song, it starts off with the sounds that I've actually heard as I start to astral project. Station to Station. That song, I know nobody ever talks about astral projection with that song, but as soon as I heard it, I'm like, okay, it sounds like he's singing about astral projection, whether he knows it or not.
Another one, oh gosh, I love this conversation. It's great. Thank you, Crystal Violet. This is Crystal Violet. She's been on my show before. Look up the videos that we have with what I call, well, he wanted to be called Wolf because he didn't want his real name. Rebecca's on there too. Okay, she goes by Crystal Violet, and Teresa too. So Fantasia is a Disney song. When I decide, if I decide, because I haven't for a long time, to watch Fantasia, that shit, portal plus another portal, we go through a Stargate, we go through a wormhole, and you're like all these different personalities by the end of the time that you're done with that movie with Mickey Mouse. Seriously, that is a lot of black magic there. They like to use the Bee Gees right before it, because whenever I want to go under the sea, last night I took my cats, and she's looking at me like, I took two of my cats and my German Shepherd with me, and we transformed into the under the sea, whatever we wanted to transform under. And I heard the Bee Gees song, Night Fever. Sometimes I'll hear Prince. I'll hear Tina Turner. And what it is it's programs that they programmed us with, believe it or not, when we were kids, or when we were in the military, or when because of the graping that happens, or stuff that happens here on Earth, not just in our dreams, but shit happens here. Okay, and we leave our body. So it's a song, whatever kind of song they want to get to, whatever kind of altar they have programmed us into. You understand, kind of? What else do you hear? Do you hear like crystals, chimes?
Well, let's see. When I started to first experience David Bowie and the years since, and not so much in this apartment that I'm at, but the house that I was living in, every room that I went to was a different David Bowie song that was playing. And I like half the time I wouldn't even catch it because I hear music in my head a lot. You get like earworms with music. And so I walk into one room and one song would be playing not Major Tom, because that's by like a different group. But it has Major Tom in it.
I hear Metallica. Do you hear Metallica?
I do not hear Metallica.
No.
So yeah, I would have like different David Bowie songs in each room that I'd walk to, and then I walk to another room, it'd be a different one, and then I walk back to the other room, it's the same one still playing. But like, yeah, so it's like I don't know if he plays tricks on me or not.
Well, at the same time,
he does like to play around with people.
Yeah, he does. Like a trickster kind of, right?
Yeah.
And what they did to us also in school, I don't know if they did it to you, but they would take me out to have hearing tests, and they would play one kind of music on one of the left ear and another kind of music or somebody talking on the left, on the right. And I see that happening a lot in Hollywood in the movies. There's a certain writer where, especially Gilmore Girls, the writer for Gilmore Girls will do that. They'll be talking and arguing, and at the same time, one person is saying this, another person is saying that, and that's how they program you as well.
I haven't had that experience. I have I took the test for the GATE program for elementary school, and I was told I missed it by like 1 point, so I never went in. But I am finding now people who said that they were in the GATE program and started playing a sound, and that sound is from the Monroe Institute Gateway tape. So gifted and talented education, GATE. I obviously, if they're playing the gateway programs, then they were trying to teach these kids how to remote view. So I never went to any school like that. Until I actually started watching a Y-Files episode of the gateway process. That's when I became interested. And I was like, ooh, I need to learn more. So I went on the CIA and I looked it up and everything. And then the tapes are widely available now. But some people they do try it without really knowing what they're getting themselves into, and can end up having some very adverse reactions, especially like intense dreams and scary dreams and stuff like that. So yeah, playing around with your consciousness is not something to play around with.
Yeah, there's layers of your right now. You said it. There's layers. So your consciousness is placed in layers. And for each personality, you can have an assassin, you can have a sex beta kitten alter through the Monarch program. I find it interesting. Before I found all this out about the Monroe Institute, I had an Instagram, and I would call myself Lisa Monroe, MANROE, and that was a mixture of because my programming when I was a kid, I came from a broken home. It was Marilyn Monroe, and also what's her name? The Satanist now. She's a Satanist, Madonna. That was my programming. So they would, in high school, they'd say, so if you were in the street, what would your street name be? And I'd always say Lisa Monroe. And if the teachers would say, so if you had a choice of having different names, what would your name be? So then anything that starts with a V, so Vixen, Veronica, Valerie, Vanessa, anything. So these are, it would be for you, would be with an R, for Teresa, it would be with a T. So they kind of like have you choose without you even knowing. And with music too, I have been playing the violin since I was in 4th grade. They had me in Philharmonic Orchestra, Tucson, Mariachi, you name it. I played with guitar. So what we are, and a lot of people watching, we are savants. They wanted us because even when we were kids and now, we can forward a song, we can rewind a song, a concerto. Okay, let's start Brandenburg. Oh, then we have the middle. Okay, let's do the ending. Like, what chord comes up with the trumpets? What chord comes up with the clarinets? When does the violin, the first, second violin, when does the cello come in? Your mind can see that. Your mind can hear it. So that's why they chose us. They call us psychics, born psychics. We don't need anybody to teach us how to remote view. We can see it since we're little, but right. Some people in the military, that's why they had us in the military, to teach others that couldn't. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I don't know. I know that I was, I don't know the term to say. I don't know if I was the term is scrutinized, but I know I was definitely watched while I was in the military, and I didn't find out until right when I got out of the military because somebody was assigned to me to talk to me. Definitely not going to talk about that.
No. Well, okay. You don't have to say who it was, but was he was in there with you? Was it a roommate? Was it? I
Well,
mean,
it was a roommate that ended up living with me right as I was transitioning out of the Navy. This is my first time talking about it publicly, so but it's been over 20 years now, so I mean, yeah. So long story short, this person was assigned to me to basically watch my personality to see if I was a good candidate for a clandestine program that like even the government doesn't have, that most of the government don't know about, kind of thing. But long story short, I'm too neurotic in this reality for me to even be a part of it. But that's when my
well,
dreams actually started. That's when
well, how do
my
you
dreams.
know? I mean, sorry to interrupt.
I
How do you
mean,
know?
well, I mean, if I am doing stuff in the third dimension, then my mind's erased.
Well, it's weird
um,
because we met. We
what's
met.
that?
We met for a reason. So,
Yes.
are you watching me? Am I watching you? Is Teresa watching us? What's going on, right? They're watching us through all of us. Okay. They're
Yes.
watching us through programs. They're watching us through our family members. You don't know which family member
Yeah.
could be doing clandestine stuff. I mean, especially if you're in police or military, you get paid for that shit. But they're just like very quiet. They won't say much. They'll go to the parties, but won't talk much. You know what I'm saying? Now you were in Como. That's what I wanted to ask you. What exactly did you do? There's a reason why they chose you for that in the Navy, like communications. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Oh, you said commo. I'm like, what's commo? So
Oh,
communications, you're saying?
Como. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay. Is that the Army's way of saying it? Because
That is
Navy and Army are way different. Navy is
Yes,
just
they
doing
are.
its own thing.
this is
Even the
actually
ranking insignia is like different.
yeah.
Okay.
We say as in police you say Como.
Okay.
Hey,
Okay.
21 Como, meaning call Como.
Okay.
Army too, but
Okay.
mainly, okay, go.
All right. So in the Navy, my main rate was interior communications electrician, and basically what I went to school for that was shipboard communications, whether it is like the 1MC, which is the main intercom that goes throughout the entire ship. They also taught me navigation systems. So there was the DREI. I don't know if any of this stuff is still if it's obsolete, because my Mark 19 gyro compass training that I was specialized in, that ended up going obsolete, and it was like the second to the last class for me. So it was basically going obsolete as soon as I graduated from the class, because they were shifting from actual physical gyros to using ring laser guided gyros, whatever that means. I wanted to go to school for that, but they didn't let my particular rate do that. It was the ETs, not the ICs. My rate is also now very obsolete in the Navy, because you talk to a sailor today, they're like, "What's that?" So anyway, so what I learned there was my specialty on the ship itself is I worked on the telephones, the TVs, and then they actually put me in the fuels division. So I also worked on the fuel system for fueling the jets. So it was the JP5 jet fuel. And they ended up sending me over there. So apparently I was a really good tech. So they figured, Rebecca will be able to do this job. So I was in the air department working on the fuel systems for a while, making sure that was running. And then all of a sudden they're like, we got an order to bring you back to our department, but here's the thing, we don't know where that order came from. And my bosses were like scratching their head, and I'm like, oh, okay. So it's little things like that that make me go, who am I to these people? Because I was also recommended for separation in the military several times because I cannot pass a physical readiness test. I have never been able to pass a physical readiness test except for that one time in boot camp because I have lung issues, and I've always had lung issues where any kind of exercise that I do, ever since that I was a child, I would wheeze really, really bad. So I don't even know how I made it through boot camp because they were grabbing me and pulling me across the asphalt.
That's a connection that you and I have because I was placed this is classified information that I'm writing about in my book right now. You and I that I know of, Umbra. We are with the Umbra.
Okay, I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, and okay. We have classifications that are pretty high. You can't really, they can't find information on us really. Now the lung issues have to do with the dolphin program that I told you I saw something in you when I met you. Mm-hmm. The lung issues, I've had lung issues since I was a child. Like I said, they just had to remove my lower left lung due to cancer, but the cancer that they sent was the nanotechnology that were given to me in the Army as far as the anthrax shot and all that, the 5-in-1 plasmoid.
Did you say nanotechnology?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what came up. And it's kind of like a part of a kill switch when you start talking. You know, they try and send you the cancer so you could just shut up. Right. But I didn't take the chemo or radiation. I just said, just do the surgery. I'm still in a lot of pain, but I'm here. I didn't stop talking because they warned me. They warned me before through who I thought was a friend. She said, yeah, Veronica, if you stop talking, they'll take away the cancer. I'm like, what? And she like sent me information. Nah, it's bullshit. They still want to take me out, and I'm still gonna keep going. So, and the nightshade is code name for clandestine it's hard to say. The assassin program. So that, and then the whole lung thing, what they did is they grew different from our body, from our essence, from our DNA. They grew another clone. This clone, this is intel that I just got last year, but I hadn't talked about it. I grew limbs and gills because we're able to breathe underwater in these realities and this military programs that are secret. But if you look them up now, the CIA patents, they're coming out now. You can look them up. And that's one of the reasons why I believe that we've had a hard time with our lungs is because we were able to breathe underwater.
That is very interesting. So I've been hearing recently that 2026 is the year of disclosure,
underwater, and that means like even I still have dreams of being under. Even when I was a kid, I was always swimming. They would always take me to swim class. My mom dropped me off there. My middle sister all day long swimming, all day long, especially in the summer. She would just drop us off, and all day long we'd be in the swimming pool. I have had dreams where I am with the dolphins and the black dolphins, because there are black dolphins and black whales, where I'm teaching the kids certain things to be telepathic with the dolphins. This is just, like I said, these are bits and pieces that I've started remembering since I had. And I have dreams where I'm breathing underwater and I'm in a tub. I'm in a tub and I'm breathing underwater and I'm a kid and I'm like, what's going on? What? So there are some, of course, there are some cover memories, but there's also some real memories. So it's you feel like you're going crazy, but you're not. I'm just going to tell you that. Just write down your dream, because through the years of me just writing and telling people my dreams, there's been a lot of people that said, oh my gosh, I was in your dream and this is what happened. I go, oh my gosh, I did see this and this and that. And we piece things together because they don't want us to remember. So anyway, let me just read the live stream and then we'll go on with you, okay?
Okay.
Matthew says, peace and love. Hola, ladies. How are you? Rowdy Wood, hola, catching the live stream, brother. Thank you for being here. And then Matthew West says, I deal with a family member who, when he drinks Jim Beam or any spirits, his altars come forward, make it hard to deal with. So I eat candy to lower my vibe, to cheat, to hide from the bullshit. LOL, he puts. And then he says, beer versus spirits are crazy different with energies in people. Yeah. And then we have Jerry Lee Han. He says, hi, like and share Ashes to Ashes to Bowie songs that mention Major Tom. Oh, that's my favorite song from, okay, so there's a song called Major Tom. And I always say when I'm done here on Earth, play that song for me. Because that's my favorite song, Major Tom. And then Valerie says, my confirmation name I picked was Diana. That's interesting. Like Princess Diana, she knew a lot. You know, they took her out because she was with the reptilian family that like to eat children, the queen, you know, and then Stone Hobbit. Hey, roomies. Hi, Susan. And then Susan says, hi, Vero. Hi. And thanks for being here, guys. Thank you. Yes, the Omega programming. Yeah, that's the Omega programming, the kill switch that they instill in our brains when we start remembering. So that way we either self-destruct or we start hearing these things that, you know, just ugly things that we don't want to say to end our life. And we don't have to do that. We're strong. We're getting stronger and stronger. They're stronger in us and coming together and having these talks. And go ahead, Crystal.
Yeah, and there's more and more people talking about this kind of stuff every day, and I do try to stay in the I don't want to say sphere of influence, the noosphere. I don't know if you're familiar with that. Carl Sagan talks about the noosphere, and I think the noosphere is basically the same as the collective conscious. So I mean, the collective conscious has always been around, but now that we have internet and we have you know, podcasts going on, and even Mayim Bialik, you know, her with her PhD in neuroscience, she's even bringing channelers on to her program, and she's getting her mind blown, realizing that like aliens are real and UFOs are real, and I keep hearing that if and when humanity's ready, and they say that the aliens are saying that they are coming and they will be here by 2027. I'm keeping an open mind. I don't know or not. I'll know when they land. But they say they're supposed to come here and you know, actually give us a full rundown of the history of Earth. And you know, tell us all the stuff that we missed. So
which I think it's going to be, sorry, I think it's going to be a programmed. I just can't believe them because, okay, have you guys seen the movie? And I didn't know it was going to be this gruesome because I don't like to watch movies like that. But Jeremy Wood said, hey, check out this movie, which I'm glad I did see it. It's called The Cabin in the Woods. Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's a comedy, actually.
Yeah, but the Illuminati, they have to tell you the truth in movies. What it is if you pay attention to the five, at the end when they want to sacrifice the hoe because she's corrupt. The second one is the athlete. They want to sacrifice the athlete. The third one is the scholar. The fourth one I forget, but the fifth one is the virgin, and they leave the virgin for the last. And then Sigourney Weaver comes out, and then the kids are saying, why do you want to sacrifice us? And then she says, because you're youth. They want the youth for them to live on. And then they show a picture of these huge, they call them the evil giants, but they're like spiders, scorpions, serpents, dogmen, all kinds of, everything weird under, which is Antarctica. Okay, it's symbolism for that. They have the drawings of the people around them that are going to be sacrificed. And then when someone dies, remember, they squeeze the blood, and that blood is going down to feed the things, the evilness that's under Antarctica, which is what Buzz Aldrin most likely saw. And he says, pure evil, right? He had a heart attack. So it's a lot, but I couldn't sleep after I watched that movie because I'm like, it makes sense. Everything that they say, as long as we feed them these things that are underground, they'll leave us alone. Meaning they'll stay down there. As long as we keep giving them the sacrifice, right? The blood of the children, the youth, because they want to live forever. They'll keep giving us the technology, AI, but AI is one of the AI has different facets to AI. It's not just one AI. It's different ones. If you study Enigma, okay, there's a book called Code Breaker. There's when they were interceding the submarines that were trying to, bombard the United States from Russia, things like that, right? Germany, World War II. So everything is in layers, but you have to, we do have the layered thinking, we can. This is what I went through this past weekend. Holy shit, that's right. That's because there's all this talk about Antarctica and all these evil beings, and and they terrorize the children. I mean, they terrorized me in dreams when I was little. They still try to, but I'm like, no, I get rid of them. You have to have control of your dreams to get rid of these entities. And if you can't get rid of them right away, when you're rolling over to the next part of your dream or your bed or getting up to the restroom, say, I break all ties and contracts, known and unknown, any blood oaths, anything with these beings. I cut contract. I do not consent. I return to sender. You have to keep, you don't need to consent to them messing with you in your dreams. We live a life here. We live a life over there. Sometimes we live multiple lives. Like I say, always check, if you got a bruise or a cut or whatever, what you wake up with. Maybe you're too tired to even eat that day, or you're so hungry that day because maybe you've been doing some work. We are warriors in spirit, and that's why we come together. And if we need each other's help, just call. Even in the astros, say our name. Say, Veronica, come over. Crystal, Crystal. But that, it just really made me upset. I mean, I was already upset before, knowing that they're doing this to our children and the youth. And through AI right now, these call centers, we don't need call centers. Teresa and I always talk about that Project Blue that they want to do here in town. And now they're talking about having these call centers in the moon. So what's going on? What does all that have to do with? I always say all roads lead to Antarctica, because those beings that are on Antarctica, they're going to want to come and say, hey, this is what's going on. But by the way, let me have your firstborn so I can eat that, I'm sorry, I just, it's a lot. Teresa, you want to say something?
No, this is all quite fascinating. I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. I have to process it. I did want to bring up an off the wall subject. Crystal, what kind of vaccines do you remember receiving in order for you to board ship and maintain space on it?
I don't remember I mean, when you go into boot camp, they line you up and then, they did the
Yeah.
hypo spray for me. I don't know if they still do, but you have both sleeves rolled up. The first week you're in, you hurry up and wait. You're basically passed through like cattle, and they're just like injecting you on both sides of the arm. So I have no idea what all I got. And then when I was leaving my training, yeah, my training station that I went to right after boot camp. I was there for about a year for my training for learning electronics and communication systems and all that. When I left to go to my permanent duty station, and they were giving me the physical to leave, they're like, "We don't have your shot record." So I got a double dose of everything that they gave me because they had to give me all the shots all over again. So, but when I was on the ship, when did the whole anthrax scare happen? What was it, like 1990?
91 is when.
Okay. I
Yeah,
think I
that's
got
when
my anthrax shots. I had a total of 6. There were supposed to be more, but then they just stopped for some reason. Because the first 3 shots is every 2 weeks, and then like every like 3 months, and then like 6 months, and then so on. So I definitely had 6 anthrax shots, and one of the shots that I got, my arm turned bright red, and I instantly started having issues with my respiratory. So I was breathing, I was wheezing, and I had pain in my lungs. And then I saw one of the doctors on the ship, and he was the flight surgeon. And because I had already had issues with my lungs that, I fought with the doctors while I was in Great Lakes. I told them, look, I failed my physical readiness test. I was wheezing. I want to get checked for asthma or something. So they ruled out asthma. They said they didn't know what it was. And so I get the anthrax shot. I instantly start, having issues with my lungs right after having the shot. And the doctor's like, well, you have an inhaler. Why don't you use it? I'm like, this isn't the same sensations that I get when I have my normal wheezing. Something is wrong. And I just argued with them. And like I said, my arm was really bright red and itchy, like from, I don't know if you can see, from like here to here, it was just all red. And my coworkers, they're like, "Oh, you're just a hypochondriac." And I'm like, "F you,"
I know.
Because
That's how
huh?
that's how they are in the military. And if you don't, you have to suck it up. You know what I'm saying? And that's my mentality still. And I have pain every night. Every night. I know I need another back surgery every freaking night. I'm like, damn it, it's the nanotechnology that they gave us to help to make us ready for space. And that's why we had a hard time breathing it, because it was actually chemicals that were in the other planets, like the moon, Uranus, Pluto, Saturn, Mars, okay, especially Mars. And then they were supposed to do that to me every 2 weeks, give me this, every whatever. Well, guess what they did to me? All of the 6 shots, they call it the 5-in-1, all of the 6 shots in one. And my arm was bruised too and hurting. And I was like, what the fuck? And they do that. And mine had anthrax, and later on I find out after this other cancer, it was the one in Vietnam that they used, the Agent Orange. And I'm sorry you had to go through that. Everybody goes through that, and even some people even get pills after that, and it's just we're their experiment, but they're readying us to go to space. That's what I mean, even though we've gone to space before as children, but there's a certain something that they had to give us for a particular mission that affected our lungs. Because first of all, if you look at that movie, the old movie with Superman, and there's a chopper going up right now as I'm talking. We have the 12. He had the 12 bloodlines when they took him from space in the crate, the 12 spikes, and then he was number 13. And then he was the mom said to the dad, he's the queen or whatever you want to say, but our son, he can't breathe the air on Earth. what's going to happen? You know? So they put him in this like special crate. And I find it interesting. They say that a lot of us that have the Nephilim bloodline it's hard for us to breathe here on Earth. And we have the lung problems. Since I was a kid, I had bronchitis, pneumonia. Did you suffer from that when you were a child or just after you got shot?
I think my mom told me that I had pneumonia like right after I was born. I was also born jaundiced, but with my understanding of the human body and blood types and everything, my mom was O negative, and I'm positive. So like when the mother has Rh negative blood, the antibodies on the blood cells themselves are going to attack the foreign body. And I figured, because I understand, it was after I learned immunohematology that I'm like, oh, that probably explains why I was born jaundiced. Because my mom actually said she got the Rogam shot for my brother, but she didn't mention it for me. But I'm sure she had to anyway, because all mothers have to get it, I think, if they're Rh negative. So.
Yeah, because when I'm Rh negative, I'm O negative, and so when I was pregnant of my kids, I had to get a Rogam shot while I was pregnant, and then another shot, then pregnant, shot. Oh, it's crazy. And then one of my kids came out O positive and the other one O negative.
So, yeah, same with my brother's O negative, I'm A positive. So obviously I know where I got the A positive from. It wasn't her.
Sorry, but you still have the O negative carrier, which makes you very strong.
Yes, I do know. I do understand phenotypes. I actually got 100% on the test for understanding genes. I actually there was one time when I think it was it's either immunology or something else. There's like only 4 people that passed the immunohematology class. I graduated top of my class when I went to school for lab tech, and there was something that one of the courses that we took, the teacher had us study for the test, but she told us the wrong stuff to study, and I don't know exactly what happened. But the entire class studied something else, and when she gave us the test, everybody's like, "Miss, this isn't even on the test. This isn't what you told us to study." And I screwed up the bell curve because I can go back into my memory of sitting in class. So when they were asking the questions, I'm like, oh, wait, I don't remember this. Let me go back. And then I actually thought about it. And I went back into the memory of sitting there. And then I'm like, oh, okay. And I scored 100%. Everybody else got like 50% and below, and I scored 100%. So everybody else, because she was going to like re-give the test, but because I scored 100% and everybody else failed it, I screwed up the bell curve and everybody was upset at me.
That's neat. I love it. Because see, that's what I'm saying, where we can go back to our memories. We can go through music and movies. Now they did the same thing to us 3 times when I was in the police academy. It's very interesting. They do that on purpose. They'll give you like the wrong questions. So then what happened is they elected me as secretary. I'm like, why? I don't even know you guys. I don't want to be a secretary. I'm married. I have kids. I don't need this shit, And then they would give you tests every Monday. You had to take tests, and then you still had the physical test too. So all week long, and I'm like, what? So a lot of people were like, we need you to rewrite this for us. So I had to rewrite for the first time it happened. I rewrote the whole question so that we could all pass. And the second time, I'm like, F this, I'm going to delegate authority, because somebody said you need to. So I started saying, you write that question, you answer that, because they wanted me to do the whole thing. I'm like, that's crazy. And they still had me do color guard. So every morning, put the flag up, take the flag down at the end of the day. It was a lot. But they do it on purpose to see how you're going to work with what I'm saying, with people. And see what you remember.
Yeah, I understand that being like a personality test along with like a whole bunch of other tests, especially on like how your brain works, how you can manage stress, how you can manage like different tasks happening all at the same time. So
real quick, Valerie says, in the astral, I dreamt I was in a deep basement of cobwebs and old toys like Liberace doll, which was way before my time. But I Googled Liberace doll and it exists.
Wait,
Oh,
say that one more time?
It says Liberace, Liberace. Liberace
Oh,
doll?
Liberace? Like
Yeah.
the
Like the actual
Liberace, the singer pianist or whatever way back in the day.
Pianist. And then
Uh-huh.
she said, "Oh, and then I had a dream that it was a dark gray man taking a peek at me, scary." Yeah, I've had dreams where I'm in a lab, and then I look to my right, and there's a screen, like a screen, and then right behind there's three gray aliens looking at me with lab coats. I'm like, and then I wake up. That's the trick of this thing. It's a lot of hard work, but it's the beauty of it. When we are in the astral and we say, "Hey, who are you? Where are you from? What do you want?" Like, get the F out of here. Like you can't control my dream. They also want to know what you know. They also want you to go and get relics from other countries or other planets, bring them back. They want you to spy, like I always say, they trained me as a double and triple spy agent. So they want to know what you know.
Right.
And they want to see through your dream, because everyone in the whole world is being studied in our dream. It's not just us.
Right.
They can see what we're doing every day. They have the LiDAR technology, that. So when they say, Santa Claus is coming to town and he sees you when you're sleeping, well, that's the military, bro. Oh, do you want to go through the pictures?
Yeah, let's do that.
And then you can keep talking while I go through this, because I don't know how long it's going to take to share the screen.
So there's this it is a TV show on HBO Max. It's called Doom Patrol. It's DC Comics, and the writing is really good. And what I'm actually noticing with that, because I just started season 2, and in the show it actually talks about like it's got these different characters, and they're all kind of like superhero rejects, and they all live in this one mansion, and there's this bureau called the Bureau of Normalcy, and it kind of sounds like what you're talking about, how people that have like these extraordinary abilities or talents, they're actually found and then placed in this place called the Ant Farm, where they're actually held captive and used as weapons and stuff like that. And in the show, it's, from what I'm gathering with the way they're writing and how everybody is having to deal with each other's flaws and their own flaws, they actually are finding out through self-reflection, like who they actually are and how to wake up and integrate their flaws into them to be a better person. That's what I'm getting so far out of the show, and it makes a lot of sense to me, and I resonate a lot with that. So
yeah,
Doom Patrol.
and we have, and then we're doing it now with the podcast, but we can also plan on, getting together in the astral, even if we don't plan it or say it to each other. We're there for each other, and I like that movie. What is it name again?
It's called Doom Patrol, Doom Patrol. I guess it's based off of a comic book. I never really watched comics, but I mean, there's so much absurd stuff that happens. Like the first couple of episodes, they end up going inside, I think inside the mouth or inside the butthole of a donkey. And then they have to it's really wacky and amazing, but there's so many lessons in there that I'm seeing that probably go over most people's heads, but I see it as a story about spiritual awakening.
Yeah, that the donkey hole, that's pretty much a wormhole or a portal.
Yeah, there's lots of wormholes and all kinds of stuff. There's even like a gender fluid teleporting sentient streak.
Oh
that
gosh,
makes people.
that's crazy.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
wacky, but like there's some I see what they're doing there.
yeah, exactly. It's there. They want to collect the transgender, gender neutral, whatever, through that portal to, to program them more. And I find a lot in movies when they do yellow is gender neutral because there's a few movies that talk about the color yellow and they're like, oh well, I want to paint this. This could be a baby room, and then the guy asks her, what color? Why don't we just color it yellow? It's gender neutral. And I'm like, oh gosh. Then we go into gender fluid, and I'm like, what the hell? They're making all these species for this war that's coming. And they're selecting teams. They pretty much want us to be like a hermaphrodite and or a eunuch for AI or whatever the darn wannabe gods that are coming from Antarctica, which is a portal that goes to other planets. Anyway, I can go on and on.
Okay.
So, Rebecca, you said
Yes.
this one was drawn in black using UV reactive color pencils.
Yes.
That to me looks like a portal, and that looks like something that I would see the labyrinth, David Bowie in there.
This one, I actually was sitting outside under the stars with a black light headlamp on, and so I was like, let's see what I can do with these pencils. So, I was just zoning out and just coloring in, and then I'm like, I'm gonna do this. And so what that is that you actually see is a tetrahedron. And if you know anything about math and Platonic solids, the tetrahedron is a four-sided solid object, and that is the first four sides is the first polyhedron that can actually be physically manifested in the third density or the third 3D. So I don't know if it was Plato, Platonic solids. So I'm not really, I don't know that much about math and geometry and stuff like that, but that is like the most basic shape that you can get in the physical reality. So I drew that, and then I was just doing whatever, and then I noticed that the top like looked like hair. So I'm like, let me just like, draw a neck so it actually looks like a person or something like that. So that one I actually called tetrahedron head. And I think it looks better in black and white than.
Yeah, and the hair, it's like the follicles that are reaching for the other like portals or whatever, other tetrahedrons, they communicate. It to me, that's what it just seems like. Yeah. And then it kind of looks like a mouth, like a spider mouth. Ah!
Yeah, it does kind of look
portal.
like a spider too, but yeah. I didn't think about it being a portal, but it does make sense. Because I'm not too familiar with orgonite energy and stuff like that, but I do know that the tetrahedron does have the tetrahedron itself is like one half of a Merkaba, which is what they call the Star of David. I don't know if they call it the Star of David anymore, but the Merkaba is the six-pointed star, which is I think in Kabbalah, with their text and everything. It's I think it's not mind, body, spirit, light body.
Yes, it's a teleportation device.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't like I know a little bit about a lot of things. I just don't know enough to really
No,
explain.
me too. I don't know everything either. I'm
Right.
learning too.
Yeah.
So if you see in the middle, there's this movie that I really like. It's called Night Sky. And it's an old people that are like, one of the ladies is like getting ready to just call it quits because her son decided to delete himself. So this whole movie, she's depressed, right? But then they discover this barn, this thing, and it's a circle. And it looks like it's a teleporter pretty much. You step in the middle and it has like this ball that can take you wherever you want. And so they discover this new planet, and that's kind of like their escape. And then there's more to that movie though. It's really interesting. Then other people come through the teleport, and then through that particular place, but there's others in the world, like stargates, but they're hidden underground. And then so when you step in the middle, like that, the teacher hidden there, the square the triangle there in the middle, if you step in the middle, meaning your vortex is, because we're also a ship pretty much. We teleport through our vortices. So in the middle, you step in the middle, and then boom, you go somewhere else. But yeah, Night Sky. I like that movie. You like it? It's on Prime. It's a little miniseries. And then this one, ooh, Normal Light. Ooh, that's like stairs. I'm going down or up.
Yeah, it does look like stairs. Yeah, after I did that painting, when you go to the next color, when you actually see what it looks like in black light, there was a book that was on the bookshelf at the house that I was living with. It was my boyfriend at the time. I was going through his books, and it was actually there was a mathematical book about math, because he was a huge math nerd and stuff like that. And I actually saw on the cover of that book with that very thing that I painted in black and white with the red in the center, and I'm like, well, that's very interesting.
That's like a door. Because I know that when we do the QHHT for people, like when I help them through there, I either say, okay, what do you see? Most of the time, is it a red light or is it a green light? Which one are you going into? That's really interesting.
I use the red because I didn't have much of the red glow in the dark left, and I wanted to use the red with blue contrast. So the red, to me, when I did it, didn't have any significance. I just thought it looked good. And everything that I do, I just do because I think it looks good, but I don't know. I don't know like the hidden meaning or spiritual meaning behind most of the stuff that I do. It just happens.
Yeah, it's in your memory bank, in your consciousness and your subconsciousness. And even me, when I'm making these books, I'm like, wow, I just transported myself to the Edwardian times, or I just ended up in another planet, or Paris, or oh wow, I'm in another land, mountain area, the ocean, whatever. But it's like our memories. I think that's what makes art so beautiful, is we don't even know sometimes what our subconscious has. That's why we do the art, to kind of relieve ourselves, I think. Here real quick says Matthew West, fire elemental tetrahedron or pyramid, LOL. Plasma has different shapes or elementals. Two spinning opposing quarks or tetrahedrons make a hadron. Yeah, that's what you were saying, right? Yeah. Okay. This one? Canvas?
Yes. Canvas. I was just, I don't know. I used the compass and I was just playing around with it. I wasn't really my favorite at the time. I was just trying to see what I can do. It was one of the ones that I wasn't really I didn't have much energy with that one. It's just, I don't know.
It kind of reminds me of like a mandala, like part of a mandala.
Yeah, I think I was just experimenting with the compass with the needle and the pencil and everything, and just to see what I could do. And then I'm like, well, I did that. Now what? So that's when I ended up blending in the silver and the blue together with the metallic paint and everything to see.
It's something
it actually looks pretty good. So
I like it. And then Gerald says cool contrast. Yeah, that's something that I would look up to the sky and probably draw or something in my mind and go through that. Maybe step on one of the, I don't know. My mind, you know how that goes. I just go everywhere. So this looks like you're teleporting out through this sky through the,
Oh,
through
okay.
the wheel,
I see it now.
and then the flower spins, and you can get on that
Okay.
flower, and it can be a ship. That's
Okay,
just
yeah, I can see that.
different ways of getting out of this reality.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like this one.
That's the first one I ever did. That's one where because I actually started doing stuff like that on just basic paper and then started coloring them in with paint. And I'm like, what would happen if I actually did it on a canvas? And that was my first one that I did. And then it turned out it came out really, really good. I don't know. This one also glows in the dark and with a black light. I don't think I've sent you any pictures of that yet.
No.
So I'll have to find that. I mean, all my pictures are scattered and they're not good light. But so
You're
yeah,
beautiful.
I'll have to send that one to you to show you what it looks like in the dark.
Ooh, it's like two eyeballs, two reptilian eyeballs staring at me. Wow, there's a lot of wisdom in this one. I see wisdom.
Yeah, I like to rotate that painting. Sometimes I'll hang it like by the corner, or sometimes I'll just hang it like that. Um, so I do see that there's at least two portals in there, and they're not exactly the same. But yeah, that one I had seen a technique on Pinterest on how to draw stuff like that, and so I decided to try it with paint, or not paint, but painter's tape. So I did the pattern with painter's tape, and then I just put threw a whole bunch of different colors of paint on there, mixed them together, and then ripped the paint off, and then colored it in black.
Oh, I see what you did. That's what I do with the bottles, the glass art. So you can, like, if you drink, like, if you're like wine bottles or whatever, you put the painter's tape, and then you can make your own design and paint. Yeah, I see it. And then I also, this one kind of reminds me of the mirrors, like multiple mirrors. And I don't know if you ever saw that movie John Wick 3.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I definitely see that.
Like, ooh, I like it. I like the colors. And then of course it could be like multiple portals too. Let me see. We have, did we do this one already? Oh yeah. 1, 2, we went through that, went through this. I'm just going through the emails here. 6, 7.
Yeah. So that was
Okay,
all 7 of them.
and then there should be, let me see this one. Oh, did you want me to show that? Because if not, I can get it out.
Oh no, that's fine. I mean, it shows, my
That David Bowie.
yeah.
I love David Bowie. He's badass.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything on there that is important. I mean, it's got my medical laboratory technology, and other certificates, so credentials and stuff like that. But that should be public knowledge, if you get like a degree and stuff. So.
What's your degree again, Mama?
I have an associate's degree in medical
Technology.
laboratory technology.
Yay.
So, I know how diagnostic testing works. I know anatomy, physiology. I basically know I know the circulatory system. I know the lymphatic system. I know the pituitary system, the nervous system, and I basically know everything except for the muscles and the bone.
That's awesome.
A general idea. Things, the study of medicine is constantly changing. So what I know now about diagnostic testing may have changed over the years. So I'm not up to date as far as that goes. And for some reason, I think the powers that be didn't really allow me to get into that field, even though, I tried really, really hard to get hired. Because my original idea was to actually become a lab tech, so I can be a I think a biotechnician, so like the technician that actually comes in and fixes the machines that does all the diagnostic testing. it's a requirement to be a lab tech for 2 years first. At least at the time, it was a requirement to be a lab tech for 2 years before you could be the technician and work on the equipment. So that's why I became the lab tech, so I could become the technician. And I was never able to get a job in the field.
Yeah, they didn't want you because you knew too much.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I cannot get hired anywhere because I think my resume is too expensive, and people might be scared.
I get you. There's a family member who did graduate from the university with bio, what you're just saying, and can't get a job either. And it's just,
Yeah.
I think it's like top secret what you've studied, and maybe, you might
I don't
have
know.
to.
I mean,
Yeah.
just the intern at the hospital that I externed at with my schooling, because they told me at the last second that I needed to get a fingerprint clearance card, and I was like, oh no, and they're like, it's gonna take like 3 weeks, and then when I actually went through like the DPS to get the information or to get the clearance card, it came back in 3 days saying that I was approved. So obviously, obviously I'm in the system, and
Right.
pass background checks and all that. So.
Oh yeah, I had to have 3 fingerprint clearances, 3 lie detector tests, 3 psychological tests that were like 600 questions more. This is a lot. But anyway, are these the tarot cards that you made, or?
No, I just ordered those. It's actually, I think it's called Montauk Oracle card set. Basically, you flip the card over and it just says like one word and then like a little sentence underneath it. So, I think that particular set, it was like my first time ever doing a reading, so I took a picture of it, and then it was pretty spot on because I don't think I have the picture of the actual reading itself, but it was basically a past and present and future kind of reading, and the first card for the past was like gambling. And I'm not a gambler, but I was a slot machine technician, so I'm like, oh yeah, well that tracks. And then I don't remember the rest of the cards, but it was pretty spot on.
Yeah, I still remember the first reading I did too. It's nerve-wracking, but then the more you do it, the more confident you become. Yeah, I like the Anubis. I don't know if it shows it next. Anubis is one of my favorite ones. This guy here. You see how he's like working on the mummy, like there's a lot.
I believe that is a scene from the Book of the Dead of Ani. And Ani, I think it was I don't want to say just a layperson, but like someone who was not a pharaoh, but he was, because I guess back in the day, people who were getting buried, they would like go to priests and like have a book made specifically for them of the Book of the Dead to pass through to the other side and stuff like that.
Yeah. I remember.
And I think that's what that's from.
It's I read the Book of the Dead, the Egyptian Book of the Dead, and they would go to a certain entity or person to say, hey, this is how I want my body wrapped, or this is what I want in my body, and I want a reading or whatever. I want to make sure I make it to the other world. This is what I want to take with me in my tomb. Things like that. Right.
But the reason why I have this particular statue is because back in, I think, 2001, I was doing a meditation and I had a vision where I was transported to ancient Egypt, and I think I was like a supervisor or something like that, and I was actually overseeing a funeral burial preparation, exactly what you see right there. So as soon as I saw that, and that particular I got from like the Design Toscano catalog back in 2002. I doubt it exists anymore, but they have a lot of Egyptian stuff.
I like it. I've always been very close to Anubis. I started writing my walk with Anubis, and I started writing what I saw with him and things like that, and very interesting. pretty much like he's the guard of Hades. And then it's just very heartfelt.
Yeah, I haven't been able to communicate with him personally myself, but I have had other psychics tell me that he does like me.
Aw.
So, yeah.
I saw my life as I went through when I had my near-death experience after this whole thing happened. Years later, I started writing because I wanted to see what happened, and he told me what happened. So anyway, very interesting character. There is a movie, The Gods, I believe, of Egypt, where he's portrayed in there, the goddess of love, and Seth, or what is that? Seth, I think, and then the brother, Horus, they're fighting for his eye. It's just the goddess of love gives her bracelet so that a young man can save his the girl that they had just, taken out. It's a whole story, but there's a lot of stuff in there, like the dragons. You can ride the dragons, things like that. Okay, let me go to the next one. Oh, I like your crystal ball.
Yeah, I don't know where it's at. I think I lost it in the move. I thought I had it with like my other stuff and it wasn't there. So yeah, I actually bought that crystal ball when I was in Hawaii, I think on my last deployment. So I don't know how crystal it is, but cool. I want to get another one. I do like experimenting with photography.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I like it. Well, ask the fairies to bring it back if it was stolen and if it was taken through a portal. Just ask that it may be returned, or if it's not going to be returned, that you put a protection on it so that they can't get to you. You know what I mean? Just put a protection spell over it, because you know how it is. We have to let go of things when we say, oh, thank you, pen or whatever piece of clothing. Thank you for the time that we spent together. I release my energy from you, and I ask that you make this next person that's going to own you happy, and then you just release your energy from that. So, okay, I know you know that.
Yeah, I have had items that I've lost from all the way in Las Vegas when I was on a trip, with the casino, and then 10, 15 years later, I find it and I'm like, well, that's interesting. I moved 3 times and then I find, the lost objects that I thought I lost, somewhere else. And so they do return sometimes.
They do. And then if not in the same form, in another form. But everything that is taken away from us or lost, we get it back. Okay. Let's see if I have any more. I know I have more.
There's a Black Star painting one that's different versions of the one that we were talking about on the last time that I was on. So that is the actual painting of that one that you guys like. So that's the one that's the homage to David Bowie's Black Star music video. So that's the one that's painted with the black 4.0, the really, really matte stuff. Kind of like painting with velvet.
Beautiful. That's
what it looks like under black light.
And like I told you, it reminds me of the portal to go to Mars the last time. Look at how nice. That also.
And that one is in total darkness, with it just glowing.
So beautiful. That you can go under the sea with that one.
And then that's the one that I showed on the last time that I was on the show. That has a filter, but that's the one that I want to make the print. Like a mouse pad. I kind of want to have a mouse pad printed of that too.
Oh yeah.
And then it looks really good in black and white.
It does. It's like Starry Night, but in black and white.
Yeah, that's another thing that I like to do is digitally alter the paintings that I've done to have something else.
Thank you. Well, you're very talented, Rebecca. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So I'm glad you're here. And then if you can let everybody know where they can get a hold of you, and then we can always do another show when I come back from the surgeries. But right now, I'm done for now.
Well, I can be seen on Instagram. I have an Instagram account. It's under Crystal Violet 713, if I remember correctly. And it's got a picture of my face under black light. So I'm wearing like a really bright orange fedora. And then Crystal Violet, spiritual healer, intuitive reader healer, something like that. It's got my face in black and white. As far as readings go, I really haven't done readings in quite a few years, and only with my friends, so that I am not very comfortable with doing, especially reading cards, because I don't have the cards memorized. I actually had somebody tell me to throw out my cards, because I actually read people with the cards. I tell people what they want to hear and what they need, not what they need to hear. So I was told throw them out. So I'm like, okay. But what I know that I'm confident in is
I always say don't kill the messenger, and then I use my card, even though I don't have it memorized either. I just say this is what I see, this is what I dreamt about you, or whatever. Most people don't want to listen to what you have to say, because it's you have to change. Bye, Miko, I love you. Yeah, there's something that's in there that has to change within them, and of course they don't want to. Well, then they're not your friends. Sorry.
right.
Sorry, but not sorry. It's like, well, then.
Well, no, I mean, that's the thing. I was just walking around at a psychic fair, and then the psychic pointed to me, and she's like, "You." And I'm like, "What?" She's like, "You read tarot cards?" I'm like, "Sometimes, yeah." She's like, "Throw them out because you don't read them the way you're supposed to." And I'm like, "What? Okay, whatever."
No.
But then again, I have to use the book when I read cards, so.
I do too.
Okay. So what I definitely know how to do is the pendulum. I have a pendulum here. I chainmail. I did the chain myself. So I do a lot of energy work with the pendulum, and it can be any kind of energy work, whether it's chakra balancing or focusing on healing the body, whether it's like different parts of the body, organs, or whatever. Whatever I put my intent on, I use that for healing or dowsing or whatever. So those are the readings, or more like healing, that I am more confident in. I did do a chakra balancing with one of my friends one time through text messaging, and I think I only got to I got to the yellow chakra, so I got to the solar plexus chakra, and then I didn't hear from her. So I guess what happened was, well, when I was working through the sacral and the root and the sacral chakra, she said she started sneezing, and then I guess she like fell asleep while we were still texting. So, and then the next day she's like, "Wow, I was able to get so much work done and everything." And the only thing is, she didn't see what I was doing because we were texting. I just asked her, I'm like, "I want to try something with you. Do I have permission to work on your chakras?" And she said, "Yes." So I started working on it, and then she had like a really good day the next day. So I know the stuff that I do works.
Yeah.
So I'm better at being a healer than I am an actual reader.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you, Rebecca and Crystal Violet, for being here, and thank you, Teresa, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for being on Codebreaker Real Talk. Love you guys. Thank you.
Love you guys.